I love the smell of potatoes in the morning. Hello, Stationeers, and welcome back to the greenhouse. Today, you can see the greenhouse is looking particularly green. In fact, we actually need to do some harvesting, some resowing, all of that good stuff. I need more grow lights to expand this out, and we need to do a little bit more maintenance on the base. There's a few quality of life features I'd like to implement today that we can then use to roll forward and improve everything else that we've got going on around here. Now, the first thing we need to work on is gas scrubbing. I know I've got this whole setup going on over here, and it does work, it's just very, very slow. But as you can see, there's a whole bunch of nice temperate oxygen in this room. And in fact, down over here in those rooms, you'll find there's a bunch of nice temperate carbon dioxide. And so we're going to want to get up some atmospheric filtration units, slap them down here, there, and everywhere, and they can just actively pull gas out of this room. The back pressure regulators do work, they're just very, very slow, and I'm impatient. Another quality of life thing that I would really like to see done is that we go ahead and expand this kitchen. I want an automated oven and an automated packaging machine so we can cook food and can it in one fell swoop. In fact, I've got some of these old cans left over right over here from our soup days. There's the gas fuel generator, and you may be noticing it's lacking one particular component, and that of course is a battery monitoring setup. Right now we can run it, but I gotta fly all the way over to the front to see what my batteries are set to. Nah, man, that's not gonna work forever, is it? We need a more automated solution. I think it's a bit more elegant. Also, if we have a look in here, look at that. A whole bunch, like 30%, 74 moles per square of CO2 that is at a comfortable 16C. I would very much like that in the other room. I also need to get a whole bunch of heating put onto those pipes and some automation thereof so that our gas system is a bit more controlled. Because right now, it's cooling down really quickly. I'll go show you what I've devised for the moment to help with that. As you can see, I've pulled up a bunch of mushrooms. This is for the best. We've got a bunch of seeds. I'll have to resow those at some point. And look at this harvest. My goodness, we are loaded, baby. Let's go ahead and cycle out. This is going to be the next steel batch because I also need to do a whole bunch of alloys. I don't know if we're going to get to even half of this stuff today, but we do need to start working on all of it. I think I'm going to prioritize getting the atmospherics done today. So improving our atmospheric setup rather than getting it done. Spit out that iron so you don't mix it with my mushrooms, please. Thank you. I think we're going to work on getting our atmospherics more sort of developed today. So that includes gas filters. That's going to include things like maybe some pipe heaters and some automation thereof. I want to get some displays done for our battery so that we know what percentage it's at. We can worry about automating the battery display in the future. But for now, as long as we know what's going on, I'll be pretty happy. Also, let's make some charcoal. All right, look at that. A nice, comfortable, what's that, 250 biomass? Kind of crazy. On the power front, by the way, I have expanded our battery bank. We went from 2 large station batteries to 6. Someone pointed out that if I'm producing 18 kilowatts and putting it into 2 batteries, we don't need to be running this thing for very long. So that's what that's set up to. This does need a little bit more tweaking, but it's pretty much running consistently now because I expanded the cooling setup. So I've literally doubled it and given it to the next guy, who is me, and that means that we can now run this constantly. It's even while running at full tilt at 18 kilowatt production, it is still actually cooling down very slightly. Another thing I did, which was an excellent suggestion, is to link up the outputs of our furnaces and our gas fuel generator. This outputs very hot gas, about 500C, but considering our gas in these tanks is at like 5C, that is certainly one way to speed it up. Or to speed up the heating process, right? Because right now we're still at 18. This one's at 5. I've run them both through. Another great suggestion. Thank you to the comments. I've run them both through this heat exchanger doodad over here. All that does is you put one gas in on the one side, you put another gas in on the other side, and they'll share temperatures depending on their pressures. Lower pressure gas shares temperature faster. Something to be aware of. So here we've got 3.012 megapascals of fairly cold gas from this furnace, but I'm going to make some steel now, and I'm hoping that, I don't know, we can kind of like average out the temperature in there, get it up to a nice 30-40C, and then pull it all out. Okay, let's get this thing cooking. We want some steel. I think I've already got it prepared over here. Yes, I do. Have a look at this. So this is 80 grams of charcoal to, I think it's 240 grams of iron, which should make us a perfect ratio. And of course, it's not going to process because we need to set this to steel. Someone did mention that they're having trouble with this dial. They said that no matter what they set it to, it won't go back. If that happens, just pull out this chip, the furnace chip, and put it back in. And it should reset the whole system. Just so move the dial back to 0, pull the chip, put it back in, and voila, you should be good. Turn it off and on again, basically, right? Alright, so that's getting nice and hot. And let's feed in the rest of this. And voila, there it is. 320 grams of steel. I miscounted. Alright, cool. Then we can use this thing to make the rest of our charcoal, just because it's a lot faster. There we go. That'll spit out a nice 200 grams of charcoal. 750 C. We're basically pyrolyzing it right at that point, you know? Just gotta squishing it without fire. Turning it into a nice lump of carbon. Also, I've added this pipe over here. Excellent suggestion. Thank you to the comment. But the comments have just been phenomenal. Keep them coming, guys. But now, yes, we have this pipe meter over here. This tells me what my exhaust pressure and temperature, well, not temperature, will set up temperature. But right now, it tells me what my exhaust pressure is at, which I really appreciate. Okay, pull that out. Thank you. And there we go. We've got another stack of charcoal. I think they only stacked to 200. Yes, that seems right. Okay, so now we've got 600 C gas in here at 8 megapascals. Let's push some of it out. Okay. And I just want to see if we can warm up the gases in this pipe. Oh, look at that. 21 C. Literally perfect. I'll go a little hotter because our tanks are cold. Let's go to like, we'll take this up to like 35. There we go. That should be good. So now all of our exhaust gases are nice and hot, and we can vacuum them out and put them in our tanks. So what are we earning here? What's the benefit? We're getting some oxygen, tiny bit, lots of CO2, and lots of pollutant. That is very cool. Okay, open it all up, and we should see it getting vacuumed all the way down, and yes, indeed, that is happening. And we put it in this tank, and we should see a bunch more pollutants available as well. Yes, we do. I want to move this tank. This is not its final resting location. I think we'll probably put the actual pollutant tank over here. That's going to be a bit of a hassle to move, but oh well, we'll just have to, because I want to move this. I'd like to have a corridor here. I want to build all of this into a nice little shell so it looks good. I don't know how much of this we're getting to today, but we're definitely going to get started. Sorry about the long wait between episodes, by the way, everybody. It's not intentional. I'm not trying to jipe you. I am genuinely just kind of really busy in life right now. So I'm making them as fast as I can. We've been doing a lot of streaming of Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. Great little city building game. Definitely check that out. You can find it in the live section. We're going to be starting a new series of it. I don't know if it'll be today or even in the next couple days. The power schedule is looking equally as abysmal as my own personal life schedule, but it's definitely an option on the cards for me right now. All right, all that said, let's get some of this stuff made. So I would like you to make me an oven. Let's get the kitchen set up so I can go have some nice snacks. We need copper and Constantin. I have a little bit of Constantin. Let's set you to, let's make you like a 50 split, I'd say. There we go. So there is some Constantin, and you need copper. I think I still have copper. I've got 500 grams of copper. Okay, only make me the one oven, and then let's try and make the packaging machine as well. Advanced packaging machine. It's within our rights. Does the oven take electrum? Because if it does, I'm going to have to make more electrum. It does not. Okay, look at that. Advanced packaging machine. Out we go. Oh yes, and we've also still got this solid generator. I don't think we're going to need it, given that we've got the gas fuel generator. I'll keep it on hand, right? We could burn some mushroom coal if we need to. And that might give us, I don't know, a little bit of juice. It makes 5 kilowatts, so the GFG is way better. But it is fairly possible that I blow that up at some point by mistake, so maybe we just keep that as a backup. I was going to recycle it, but I think it gives you like 25 iron. It's not worth the trouble. All right, so let's start off in here with our filtration units. We want this thing to pull gas from this pipe network where we've got all the vents, and then output the filtered gas into the return pipe, the one that goes back to the tanks, and then dump the rest of it back into the room. So, I mean, honestly, this is as good a place as any. So you can be a filter, and you're going to filter carbon dioxide. I don't have the filters on me, but we'll get there, right? That's step 2. If I stick it over, I can put it over here, maybe? That would be fine, right? Yeah. Then I can run cables back. Okay, cool. So that's going to be my filtration unit, and you're going to be filtering CO2. So let's give you a spray, like that, and then we will run, because you're going to push oxygen into this room and pull CO2 out that the mushrooms create. Yes. It's all coming together. I know I am putting pollutant in this room. Don't worry, we've got that portable filter that will handle that. Okay, so spray that. Lovely. And then you are going to return CO2 to the mixed gas line. But you got to do it. Hold on, I'm realizing now, actually, this needs to be behind a one-way valve, so it doesn't just push it back through the... Yeah. So the return line needs to go into this pipe. and the input line needs to come from this pipe. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to go get more pipes in that case. Well, let's go set up our kitchen so long. Now, you may be looking at my inventory over there and wondering, hey, Largely Unemployed, why you got so many water pipes? Well, I want to start working towards building an ice mining rocket. We're going to build it down over there behind the gas tanks. We'll build a cool silo for it. We're going to enclose all of this at some point. The ice mining rocket is going to bring back every kind of ice in the game. So volatiles, water ice, everything. And we're going to want to be able to deal with we'll do all our crushing down over there near it. Pipe the gases towards our tanks, and then we'll just have to run the water pipe back here. So I was thinking, you know what? If I've got the time, I might as well start running the pipes out that way. And that's why they've got them on me. But maybe that's a little bit too much future planning for the moment. Also, someone did point out that the gas fuel generator is actually destroying these windows, and you're quite right. I think it's because it gets slightly overpressurized sometimes. But don't worry about that just for now. Okay, I think the easiest way to do this is going to be to come in from this side. So that means to move the kitchen from over here to over here, which is a lot easier than moving all the pipes. So let's do that. Most important thing to reset is the respawn point, of course. Put that right over there. I want the oven over here. Automated oven. And then we'll put the automated packaging machine. Because those basically just feed into each other. Alright, nice. And a little bit of a screwdriver, and voila, we've got a kitchen. How cool. Alright, now we can actually do some automation on these fairly easily, which we'll get to that once we've got automated growing. I will get Harveys in that greenhouse eventually. Lots of big plans this episode, I know. Alright, you are going to be my filter. And we're going to put you right over here. Yeah, I think this is the way I want to do it. So we'll have the filter pipe come in from the room, and then we'll have the open pipe come in from the room, and the filter pipe go back, and then we'll just vent the gas we don't want back into the space. I think that makes sense to me. Okay, lovely. Let's start off by wiring you in, because that's going to dictate where the pipes can go. So we need a flat one there. Oh wait, no, what am I doing? We only need to go back. He's a genius, never mind. And we put the table back over here. There we go. Kitchen's all coming together. Have sort of ruined our view of the gas fuel generator a bit, but that's okay because we can see the sun. I mean, the master. I mean, the very small Saturn. Saturn is distinctly diminutive. Actually, to be complete, I think it's a perfectly good size. All right, so we can turn these on now. Yes, sir. And that means we can now cook real quick-like. So I've done some harvesting. Of course, the fridge is running. We have a baked potato we can chow down on. That ain't that just delicious. But we've also got some more pumpkins we can cook up. Let's cook up some pumpkins because they're just rotting. So you're going to make me some cooked pumpkin. And then I should be able to make pumpkin and pumpkin soup. There we go. 5 cooked pumpkin and 1 empty can. Now we can just pipe this directly into here. Once I've got automation set up, I'll do that. But for now, we're not going to. So give him the cans. This is a much more efficient way of doing food than cooking for things one at a time. Can we do potatoes in here? Canned potato. No. Oh, canned French fries. Yeah, which is... I think I need to have soybean oil made first. Okay, there we go. We lost one. Ah, yes, this does happen with this machine. That you occasionally will get a potato that sort of just gets stuck. But there we go. We can put that in there. Make me some pumpkin soup. And this should be, like, insanely efficient calories. There we go. It also sells for a small fortune. But we'll stick our pumpkin soup shelf stable over there and chow down on this pumpkin for now. Alright, cool. We now have a functional line kitchen. We now just need to get the filtration working. I don't have the pipes and stuff to do this, but we can at least plan it out. So you're going to be filtering out CO2 in this room that I happen to breathe out. Honestly, this one's probably the least necessary of all of them. And then in here, we're going to have to go filter out all of the oxygen we produce and put it back into the network. Honestly, I think this spot right over here works. Because we want you to, yes, pull in from this room and then output to that pipe. And this is a perfect little nook for it. Right in here. We can't interact with that, so I'd rather go up this pillar just for aesthetic reasons. And then we can just give you some power. Alright, but let's do a quick harvest of all of this. We'll re-sow the seeds and then store the food for later. We'll be using all of this as our bumper crop to reseed everything once we get the Harveys set up. But Harveys are a couple episodes away. For those of you who are whooping in your chairs right now, I'm not going to be diving straight into them. There's other things I want to get done first. For example, what is this here? We have some rice planted that's just not rendering the model. I see. Okay. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. I want to get a bunch more sort of automation stuff done to the base before we get Harveys, because it's not that important to automate food production right now. It is also, of course, the automation of hydrocarbon production that's really appealing, I guess, but I mean, we'll be okay even without it. Now, the nice thing about pumpkin is that once you plant it, it just stays there. There we go. Can you turn seeds into hydrocarbon? Now, that's a good question. That's something we're going to have to investigate right now. I must say, this greenhouse is going, like, really well. I wonder what the best growing crop is. Let me know in the comments below what you think the crop we should focus the most on is. I'm interested to hear your opinions. For now, we're going to store all of this, because I do plan to massively expand the hydroponics bay in the future. Right now, it's not like a guaranteed thing. Like, we'll see what we do with it, right? But it is something I am interested in doing. Oh, and also we can stack the wheat. So 3 days, 6 days. If I average them, 3 days. Okay, so you get the lower stack. That's good to know for the future. All right, start me over here, though. This is probably the most interesting thing I'm going to do this episode. Do seeds become is biomass? Yes. Come on, show it to me. They do is become biomass? Yes. All right, so the seeds, because you always end up with like a huge surplus of seeds. I've got all those mushrooms, for example, which you never really need, except to like resow a bumper crop or something. So, seeds also turn into steel. Man, everything is steel. It's all wankershins.
How do you work this thing?
I got it. Calculating.
It's always been
Wankershim?
That's the spirit. Everyone take shelter in his divine wanker shade.
Okay, so give me 4 heavy CO2 filters. I don't think we're ever going to use 4 heavy CO2 filters in those rooms. All right, while he's working on that, we can start working on some of the monitoring equipment, right? So I'm going to need consoles, lots and lots of consoles. Honestly, just keep printing consoles, because we're going to need, let's work it out. We'll need 3 for the battery monitoring setup on that side. I've got a script I found to use it. 3 for the battery monitoring setup on this side. We'll just duplicate it. I've tried to make it work with both, and I'm not good enough at coding to make it happen. Thank you for the suggestions for coding tutorials, by the way, guys. I'm just not right now I'm not in a place where I've got time to do it, but I would definitely love to learn MIPS at some point. I'm not being intentionally obtuse. I'm genuinely just very busy. Let's see. I want pressure temperature for each of these tanks, and then we'll wall it in so it looks really cool. So you're going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 consoles, plus 2 for the fuel here where the mixing happens, and 2 for the fuel where the tank is. So what's that? 16 consoles. And it looks like we've got 10 consoles so far. Good start. Okie day. So that's going to be our 16 consoles. Then what else do we need? We're going to need a lot of gas display circuits. We're going to need, well, at least 16 gas display circuits. Oh, wait, I need another 6 consoles for this segment, don't I? Oh, no. Okay, I don't really want to print 16 chips, because that's going to fill up all my stuff. We'll print those as we need them. There's the oxygen. What is the problem, sir? You are out of Invar. We do not possess the Invar. Honestly, 1 singular heavy oxygen filter is probably enough. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to give myself the upgrade here. Give me a big CO2 filter. Give me a big CO2 filter. We'll put the medium ones. We'll split them 50-50. We're also going to have to paint these pipes. Probably shouldn't do this in here, but whatever. Paint the pipes. Pipes are going to connect up here. Also, apparently there's a new tool in the game, the spray gun. It snuck through in the patch notes because, which I don't read because, you know, I have a social life. And we're so uncalled for. I'm sorry. We're going to. Oh, listen. I don't know why I'm building this here. If I just built this here, yeah, we'd have a significantly shorter pipe run. So let me stop bashing my audience and just, you know, play the stupid game. We're joking, guys. It's all in good fun, right? You're laughing. We're laughing. You're hitting the unsubscribe button. You're calling the FBI. Ah, you know what? All fairly warranted in hindsight. All right, nice. Now, it's not pure CO2, just up until that point it is. And I want to... We don't actually need a valve, but I'm going to put a valve there for aesthetic purposes. Just so that we can divide the colors up more neatly. So you are going to be yeller. All right, nice. So you got lots of pollutant to pull out, and yes, indeed, you are doing so. Very good, man. Very good, man. All right, and then one-way valve me. Perfection. So now I can turn you on, and you should actively siphon CO2 out of this room. And behind this line, yes, indeed, we are actively siphoning CO2 out of this room. Hell yeah to the gamers. Very nice. And because he's pulling it from this pipe, he's pulling it from every single part of the room at once. That's why that system is so effective. And yes, sir, indeed, we are seeing the pressure in here drop. And the amount of CO2 plummet with the amount of O2 rising. That's exactly what we want. Cool. So that's one more major upgrade to our air filtration system. Now, when we plant mushrooms again, once that's stabilized, we are going to get all of the CO2 they produce put into that tank, which means it can then be delivered to this room and turned into oxygen, which can be sent back. And we've got a constant cycle going, right? That's the idea anyway. Because it's really easy to make oxygen in this game. Just melt some ice. It is very difficult to make carbon dioxide. So that's why we want the mushrooms, is a dedicated carbon dioxide group. Okay, so you are going to be, speaking of which, you are going to be putting out carbon dioxide and sending it to this return valve over here. So in order to make that happen, I need one-way valve here. That's where we're going to connect up to this segment. Alright, it's a little huge and janky and hideous and the worst thing I've ever seen, but you know what? It's ours, and that's what really matters anyway, isn't it? At the end, please say yes. So, that's what we're going to work with. If we stick these over here, we might be able to reach them through the window. Worth a shot, right? The next step is to swap this battery. Cool beans, and then put the filters in here. So we want to pull CO2 out of this room as well. And honestly, this heavy filter is probably overkill. This room's barely got anything in it. Look at that, 0.5 moles of CO2. Yeah, let's not waste a perfectly good heavy filter. What I'll do, all right, just so there's two of them in there, because then everybody panics. No need to panic. We'll give myself the heavy filter, and you can have this busted old one. There you go, and we'll recycle that eventually. Okay, turn you on. And you are slurping up all the CO2 in this room. Okay, well, we'll let all these CO2 get stripped out again, and I might just turn this one off. I think this room's a little too small for a build of that size, but it is very funny at the same time. Okay, we all know how this works. Give me a passive vent right over there. Stick you back in, and then we got to link this guy up. So input from this line, output to that line. We might actually have just enough pipe to get most of this done. All right, so that's the output sorted. There's your filter. Now just the input. 6 pipes. No, we are not going to be able to get this done. Oh well, I tried. I think if we just pop that vent off and we link it up here, we'll be able to siphon it all off comfortably. But I do need to go get more pipes. But actually, hold on. If I'm smart about this, we can do this part from the outside. Also, and I know this is kind of obvious, I've been watching For All Mankind recently. Holy shit, what a good show. Chat, why did none of you tell me about this? It is incredible. Who knew Apple TV was capable of producing good content? Certainly not I, that's for sure. Apparently Silo is also worth a watch. If you've seen it, let me know down in the comments. What's your favorite sci-fi? Mine's been The Expanse for the longest time, for reasons which I think are obvious. Oh god, that's a lot of airflow. Good thing these plants are wind resistant, I guess. Okay, well that's good, that's good. That's going to siphon out all of the oxygen we produce. But yeah, what kind of sci-fi are you guys into these days? What are you watching? What are you listening to? What are you enjoying? Do I care about this pollutant enough to save it? Yeah, I guess I do. All we have to do is just leave the pipes here, right? And then plug them back into the filtration network, and then it'll strip it out over there. Okay, so let's move the pollutant, and then we'll design the gas displays. Might have to do the batteries next time. I don't know if I've got time today. We'll see. So what's the pressure got up to there? 1.5. Really? Okay. Sure. Why not? For anyone watching who's thinking about getting into this game, I'll say this. You'll see a lot of Stationeers creators, they put like in a tremendous amount of planning and stuff into their various projects. And that's a really good thing to do. It's important that, you know, you have a good idea of how you want your base to look. But at the same time, don't be afraid of iteration. You know, the best ideas happen over time. And if you need to go back and pull a few things apart so that it looks better or works better, do it. It's really fine. I don't know why there's quite a stigma in the community, it seems, about having to go back and rehash designs, especially amongst content creators. And I understand that portion. It's because you don't want to recycle footage too much, right? People get tired of seeing the same thing, but people also like to see the process sometimes, and that's what I'm trying to balance in this series, right? We've got episodes where we do a whole bunch of like time lapses because I'm doing stuff I've done 1,000 times, and we've got episodes like this where I'm doing something I've done before, but maybe I've got a new take on it or something. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm always interested to hear your guys' opinions on how I'm doing stuff, because I mean, I don't know what you're watching, right? Like, I only know what I'm making. So like I don't know if it's coming across the way I wanted to. I don't know if I'm looking like a big old goofus. So let me know if I'm a big old goofus or not, I guess is what I'm getting at here. Okay, there we go. A much more aesthetically consistent filtration setup for our pollutants. Perfect. So now, once I turn you on and power you, that's also probably important, we should see all of this just flash to life. There is one concern though, which is that I had the pollutant filter on its own little network coming off that transformer because this was too much load for the small line to handle. So we are actually going to have to move this unit onto this network so that we don't blow the lines again. These can only handle 5 kilowatts of power draw, and I think they would just, it was like at like 4.8 before we attached the other one, and then the other one just pushed it over, you know, with the filters and the tank and all that stuff connected. Okay, so let's just do this. All this does is just separate the data networks. It's really not important for anything else. It's all feeding off the same batteries, right, in the end. But we are eventually going to put floors down over all of this so you won't see it, like grating and stuff. So don't worry about the aesthetics of the pipe runs. We won't see it eventually. Alright, so turn this on and we should see all that pollutant moved back over this side. And yes, there it is. Lovely. Oh no, that's interesting. We've dropped in pressure significantly. Maybe that tank was never connected over there. That would explain it. Yeah, because the pipe pressure didn't change at all. I don't think the tank was actually piped in. That's hilarious. Alright, but now I should be able to just flick this switch. And that should all turn off, and that stays on. Yes, okay, cool. Now, actually, I want to put this on a set of transformers so that we can control the flow there a bit better as well. Let's do that right now. And I also want to have the monitors we're about to build be on their own network. Power network, that is. So I don't always need them on, right? One there and one there. And we can actually fit a third one should we need to, but we don't need to right now. So let's pick up this wire and plug this into a larger cable. Okay, so you are going to be a red wire. I want to make sure I know that that is not a normal straight battery connection. Alright, cool. And now we can set the exact voltage here so we don't ever blow this line by mistake. So 499, that's what you always want to set these to. Don't worry about naming them. 499. I think I'm actually going to color code the gas display line. I think I'm going to make it gray, just otherwise it's going to be quite jarring to look at regardless. So let's first set up this line. This good old classic red. This is going to be our connection for the filtration units. There we go. And then this one over here, I'm going to paint gray. And you know what? I'm not going to use this. I'm going to go use the new tool. Spray gun. That's the one. Steel Invar silicon. Ooh, drive a hard bargain, sir. Do I have any Invar? No. No? No. Okay, cool. Never mind. We're not building the spray gun. I'm not going to make an Invar just to build a spray gun. All it does is save you a tiny bit of spray paint. So I think you use, instead of 5% giving you 1 paint, like 1% gives you 15 paints or something. I don't know. Again, making the numbers up. It makes much more efficient use of your spray paints. Okay, so that can just run till there for the moment. Definitely going to need more cable coils. But let's go get our displays and set them up. So what I'm going to do, just because this episode's going to be long already, is I'm going to set up one of them fully, and then I'm going to cut to when they're all done. Because it'll all be the exact same thing, just done again and again and again, right? So we'll need 2 gas display chips to set this up, and then another 14 after that. It's going to be a little bit expensive in gold. Ouch, it's 5 gold a piece. Ouch. Okay, so check this out. The way this works, you put down a wall. It has to be a wall, not a window, bear in mind. Just like that, and then you can put down your displays. So in this case, we're going to put our console monitors here and here. I should probably move that up one, huh? Probably move that up one. It'll look nicer. Okay, I might do that in a second. Then we're going to put gas display chips in each. Oh, I need to have a... my mistake. I need to have a... Have some glass sheets on me as well. There we go. So we're going to put the gas display chip in here. And this is going to be done just like it was on the gas fuel generator. Once you've got that down, you simply pick up your walls using the angle grinder, which ours now uses one of those wireless recharging batteries, which I'm thankful for. Okay, cool. And now we can just go ahead and plug this into the data port on the tank. If you've got multiple tanks, like I do in some places, you only need to plug it into one of them if they're on the same network, right? Just makes life a little bit easier. Okay, and voila, that's all plugged in. Now we need to wire in this guy so we can give it power. And that's why I brought this right to over here, so we can just take a turn. And then we will wire all the displays on this entire network together, and they can all be switched on and off from the same transformer that way. Alright, cool, so that's all plugged in. So now, if I turn this on, you'll see we're getting errors all around, and that's going to be fixed pretty simply. Step 1, let's give these a name. So this is going to be my pollutant temperature, and this is going to be my pollutant pressure, right? Then I'm going to pollutant pressure, there we go. Then I'm going to grab my data disk. That's exactly how we did it for the gas fuel generator. You're going to read temperature, and you're going to read it from the structure tank. I'll rename that to pollutant tank. And I'm actually going to rename all of the stuff on this network so it's super easy. Pollutant tank. There we go. And then this would be pollutant filter, right? That way if I do logic on it in the future, it's done. You're going to read pressure. You're going to read from the pollutant tank, pull you out, and bang. We now know that our pollutant tank is 6.55 kilopascals at 22C. This is just a little bit of a vanity project. It doesn't need to be done. It's just kind of like a quality of life thing, right? A convenience thing. All right, I'm going to go do that 7 more times. All right, 6,000 years later, but we're done. We now have readouts for the temperature and pressure of each of our stored gases. Nitrogen over here, we've got nitrous over there. This is a fuel readout, that's volatiles. That, of course, over here is carbon dioxide, that's oxygen, and that's pollutant. Now, I think the final touch on this is going to be to color code these screens so that we can see everything, and we will eventually be sealing in all of this. We'll be building little walls around it so you won't see the tanks anymore, and this will be kind of the front door of the base over here. We'll have gratings going down, so all you'll see is the displays, the pressure reader in case the displays go down for whatever reason, and the filtration units. And I think that'll look very, very interesting once it's all set up and done. Of course, I am also going to be expanding all of this out this way. We're going to be building the rocket silos over there. We'll have an ice crushing area over here. I had to move all the ice crushers. They were in the way of the screens. And other than that, though, we're kind of getting to a point of pretty comfortable stability. I mean, once we're doing vanity projects like this, you know we're doing pretty well. The next major problem we need to solve is the temperature in these tanks. I don't have time for it today, but as you can see, this temperature exchanger has in fact averaged them out completely, despite them having very, very different pressures. Sorry. So even though this is, you know, a fraction, this means less than 10% of what that is, it's closer to 5%, they've achieved the same temperature. So it works, it's just slow. So what we could do is we could heat up one gas. You know, we could make it so that our pollutant is really warm, or pollutant is kept at a constant temperature and we heat that. But realistically, the only gases whose temperatures we actually care about are these two. We want the CO2 and the oxygen to be warm, so we just have to heat one of them. And I think the way I'm going to do that is probably to heat the oxygen, because we'll be using that the most. You know, we'll be creating oxygen through ice, and that's going to cool it down, and so we're going to want to heat it up actively. And the way we'll do that is we'll just build a little heating array back here with some logic next time that will heat the oxygen up, and then because we've heated the oxygen up and we're exchanging heat with the carbon dioxide, it'll heat that up as well. Alright, but that is kind of that for now. Let's do a quick overview of what we've achieved today. I didn't get to the battery readouts and automation today, unfortunately, just ran a little bit over time. We are back. For those of you who don't know, I am South African, and we are back on stage 6 load shedding, which means that I get electricity for 4 hours during a workday every day. That's it. That's all I get. Nothing else. It comes on, you know, in the evenings and the mornings at sort of odd hours, but I'm not waking up at 2 a.m. to record Stationeers. I have other things to do when I wake up at 2 a.m., like respond to work emails and such and such and such as. So, the amount of time I've got available right now to spend on these is limited. That's why they're taking so long to come out. I'm really sorry. You know, if this takes 2 hours to record and then 3.5 hours to edit, you know, we get a lot less content. And I know people have been asking me to just not edit it and put it up. There's a very small minority of people who are interested in that, and I think it would harm the quality of the channel overall. So let's just try and accept that while we may have less content for a little bit, the content we do get is going to be, hopefully, a hell of a lot better. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and print out some floor grating. We'll be slapping that down around here to prettify the whole situation a little bit, I hope. And I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Give kisses to Master. Mwah, mwah. And of course, a huge thank you to our channel members and patrons for this month, who quite literally keep the lights on around here. Your support means the world to me. To Guarantor Road, Frickin' Friendly Beaver, Lunar Shots, Pratham Baruch, Ragnar Skull Crew, Jan the Pan, Big Bird G, Sleep Deprived Sam, CCMD, Hendrik Eber, Depoyo44, Wedgie FRG, Rivo, LCG Canyon Sahar, Kelly Ananas, Adachi, Alan O'Selahair, Old Man Tater, Knee Cruncher, Riley David, The Senate, Couch Potato, King of Hell, Mel Roman, Charlie Weber, Officer C4, and Mermix. You guys all rock. See you in the next one. Cheers.